History is rarely recorded as it happens, but sometimes a single moment is caught with such precision it leaves behind a trail of secrets. Between 1495 and 1498, Milan, Italy became the staging ground for an extraordinary undertaking. Hidden on a quiet convent wall sits one of the most studied, fragile images ever created. What we are examining is a meticulously engineered record of a high-stakes historical flashpoint captured at the point of fracture. The scene depicts Jesus Christ sharing a final, solemn meal with his 12 closest disciples, mere moments before his crucifixion. During the meal, he breaks the quiet tension by stating simply, "One of you sitting here will betray me." Immediately, a vacuum of shock, anger, and absolute disbelief ripples across the table. Leonardo da Vinci's ultimate challenge was to capture this real-time psychological detonation and freeze the fallout on a two-dimensional surface. Every disciple reacts to the accusation with a distinct, individual response. Fear, outrage, and confusion wash over the men. Yet, against that rising panic, the central figure of Jesus remains completely still and perfectly calm. Leonardo mapped these complex human emotions onto carefully designated physical zones across the wall. The resulting work acts as a precise psychological blueprint, trapping raw, unpredictable reactions inside a highly controlled space. To organize the room's chaos, the artist engineered a rigid network of invisible perspective lines spanning the ceiling and walls. Every single line in this architectural geometry converges on one central, deliberate focal point. Beyond the physical space, the light sources and the desperate reaching gestures of the disciples act as secondary guides, drawing the eye inward. The composition serves as a mathematical trap, forcing the viewer to look exactly where the artist demands. The bread and wine resting quietly on the table act as the foundational symbols of sacrifice and faith. But seated among them is the figure orchestrating the betrayal, Judas Iscariot. He sits with a rigidly tense posture, his face and body deliberately cast in deep shadow, while those around him are lit. But the investigation eventually moves from the painted figures to the physical wall itself. Leonardo rejected traditional, reliable fresco styles, opting instead to experiment with untested, highly volatile paint materials on dry plaster. The consequences were almost immediate. Within years of its completion, the mural began deteriorating and flaking off the wall. The work became a dying witness, a revolutionary piece of engineering that began erasing itself the moment the final brushstroke was placed. Centuries of time, severe elemental damage, and the vibrations of wartime bombings nearly reduced the wall to rubble. Only through painstakingly precise modern restoration efforts was the image pulled back from the brink of total erasure. Because enough of the original pigment survived, the historical investigation into Leonardo's true intent remains completely open. Experts continue to look past the technical artistry, searching for deliberate layers of meaning hidden within the composition. For these researchers, every salvaged brushstroke acts as a data point in a centuries-long effort to map Leonardo's original intent. Today, the mural stands as a monumental symbol of faith, artistic genius, and an unforgettable historical betrayal. Yet its lasting power lies in the mystery it continues to project, leaving those who study it constantly wondering what details they are still missing. Leaving us to ask, are we looking at a simple work of art or a meticulously arranged message that hasn't finished telling its story?